And the clouds are lighting up the sky as the sun sets over South Ozone Park, Queens. It's the big A there in that shot, and we want to welcome everybody to our second floor Aqueduct Studios. I'm Maggie Wolfendale alongside Richard Migliore, who had the day off yesterday. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. I had to catch up with a few things. I did. I've never heard anybody get quite so excited about the clouds over South Ozone Park, but that was a good open. I
like the clouds. They looked beautiful. It looked as though they were painted on there. So, yeah, I'm a sky gazer, to say the least. But a guy that I'm sure is, hey, thanks, guys. I like that shot. But a guy that I'm sure is enjoying that view possibly from his own sofa or bed here today is Mike Luzzi, the veteran jockey here who returned from the hospital, getting over those sustained injuries that were quite extensive.
Yeah, just I can't imagine how good it feels. Well, I can imagine how good it feels to get home from the hospital for Mike, and the first step in a long recovery. But Mike is as tough as nails, and it was really great to hear that he's a finalist for the Woolf Award. For me, Maggie, he embodies everything that award is about, and he should win it.
He truly does. I mean, you look at the basis of what this award is based on. Obviously, it's voted by jockeys across the nation, but it's by one who, within their career, also in their personal character, promotes the sport and brings good light into horse racing, and Mike Luzzi does just that.
He has always done that and always been a voice for the riders, always a stand-up guy, always portrays the game and himself in a positive light, a true family man, and somebody that, to me, when you talk about the Woolf Award, that's what it's all about. And I hope that the other riders, and that's who votes on it, other riders, I hope that they see it the same way I do, because I can't think of anybody more deserving.
And you would know you were a recipient in 2008 of the Woolf Awards, which is always presented out in Santa Anita around about March. But there's some other finalists as well, including James Graham, a native of Ireland, as well as Leslie Mawing and Corey Nakatani, as well as a female rider, and Rosie Napravnik. She would be the first female to win the George Woolf Award.
Yeah, she would be the first to win it. Julie Crone, not one of the many awards that Julie was able to garner throughout her illustrious career. But, you know, and it's interesting because Rosie retired, and it's only for active riders. So will this be her last opportunity? And I know Mike is planning on coming back, and he sounds very resolute about that in spite of these tough injuries. So I would never count Mike out. For me, if I still had a vote, it would be Mike Luzzi.
Right. Well, we're pulling for Mike on both ends of the spectrum there, especially for that George Woolf Award. It would be much deserved. But some young blood in there, and some young blood here in this riding colony, and that includes Irad Ortiz, who's going to participate in something very cool, the Hong Kong Jockeys Challenge, and he's the only one from North America. Jockeys from all over the world. You yourself got to ride in it as well.
Yeah, I got to compete in that. It's a very interesting and exciting event to be a part of. A tough event. You're riding on a 7/8 turf course going right-handed. It's right in the middle of the city at Happy Valley. Breathtaking when you come on the track because the high-rises are all around you. And it all depends how you draw, because it's completely random. You can draw 3 favorites or 3 long shots, and obviously horses make riders look good or bad, but it's exciting and a real honor for him to be included with that international cast, and it says a lot about the fact that people internationally are paying attention to what a good year he's had.
Yeah, exactly, and picking up his first Breeders' Cup win as well as a fall meet title at Belmont. So Irad on the up and up, and that's for sure. But we do need to get into some racing here today. Actually, a veteran jockey taking down our first race that will show C.C. Lopez. Unfortunately, John and Brielle not in the booth today to get that always characteristic of C.C. in the irons, but it was none other than Travis Stone. Here's a call of the 4th.
They're rough. Posse-licious breaks out on top. Felicity is also there. David Rock's down at the inside, and these 3 fire up the back stretch together. 2 lengths back to Final Chapter, who comes on to be 4th. Pierce's Prize on the outside in 5th. Global Positioning is back in 6th. 100% running in 7th. Wizard of It is 8th by 5. And Ant and B is at the back, racing onto the far turn, where Posse-licious has taken the lead. But on the outside, Pierce's Prize moves up, and at the rail is David Rocks. They're 2nd and 3rd, chasing Posse-licious round the far turn. First quarter in 22 and 3. Felicity is back in 4th. Final Chapter running in 5th. Global Positioning advancing toward the inside, angling back outside, was fifth a moment ago, fourth and about to be third, within 4 lengths of pace-setting Possilicious, who comes to the top of the stretch. Possilicious off the turn, Pierce's prize back in second. Global Positioning has swept on by that one and is now 4 lengths behind Possilicious into the final furlong. Possilicious, the whip is out, still leads by 3. Global Positioning continuing to close but is running out of time. Farther back, David Rocks in final chapter. Here's the 16th, and it's still Possilicious holding on with a 3-length lead down to the line, and Possilicious sharp in victory here. 2.5, maybe 3 in the end. Global Positioning was second. Farther back, either final chapter or David Rocks.
Well, Richie, was all about the first-time starters in this New York bred maiden special weight and a patent style by Chucky Lopez.
It really is. He's got that kind of patent way of doing things. Turns for home with a loop in the reins. He's kind of, allowing the horse to run up underneath him, and then he'll tighten up the reins with a couple, throwing the reins a little bit, and then he'll go to the whip. And I've seen him do it for so many years, and you kind of look for it. You expect it after a while.
You do. He's such a character as well. We're really happy to have him back in Aqueduct riding for this winter. And Mike Hushin completing that trifecta, and actually the horse that came in third, final chapter, the last horse bred by John Nehrude.
What a great name, Final Chapter, and so many great chapters in his incredible life in racing. One of a kind, John Nehrude.
102 as we talk here today. Well, moving on to race number 7, it was the other division of this split race for the New York bred 2-year-old boys.
And the rough. Awkward start for Sportella, who stumbled shortly after the break. Summerhawk broke with its head in the air as well. In the meantime, Andrews got Zip down inside, racing out after that lead. Fear runs in second. Mason's Dream on the outside comes away third. Scorpion's Touch toward the inside is fourth. Damage Control in the clear on the outside fifth. Summerhawk is sixth. Royal Fleet is seventh and toward the rail. Sportello's at the back, about 6 or 7 lengths off the lead as the field moves on to the far turn. Andrews got Zip under a firm hold from Cornelio Velasquez. Fear seconded outside and coming on with more pressure, and so too 3 wide Mason's Dream. These 3 stacked up across the track. Damage Control's 4 wide on the far turn run, trying to gain ground. Scorpion's Touchdown toward the rail. Summerhawk right there between those two, running in 6th, but only 3 lengths off the lead. Then it's Sportello and Royal Fleet is at the back of the pack. Andrews got Zip, comes for the top of the stretch, still the leader. The quarter was just 24 the half at 48 and 4. Down inside, Andrews got Zip is digging in. Here comes Mason's Dream on the outside. Mason's Dream is coming after Andrews got Zip, who's got something left for the final 8th. Farther back, Summerhawk is getting going late. Down to the final 16th now. Andrews got Zip. Mason's Dream goes way to the outside, but grabs the lead with 50 yards left and wins it on the line. Mason's Dream, an adventurous run through the stretch. Andrews got Zip was second.
And Mason's Dream, the 3rd-time starter in this grouping, was able to run down Andrews got Zip, who really, considering Richie, should have held on through quarters of 24 and change and 48.
Yeah, although it seemed like to me that fractions all day weren't particularly fast. And I think Gabriel Saez actually did something very smart when he allowed his horse to drift very wide of Andrews got Zip, because it seemed like Andrews got Zip kept meeting challenges. And sometimes when you stay next to a horse or get close to him, you embolden them. I think when he got away from him, it kind of left him lonely on the lead and maybe made it a little easier to pass.
Yeah, and congratulations out to Gregory Sacco as well as Rising Sun Stables. And Richie, kind of touching on the track, as we did see slower times throughout today, is that just them trying to keep the track from freezing and not having that much water on it?
Well, I think the cold weather definitely contributes to that. You can't put as much water on, especially the main track, because it's going to freeze, it's going to ball up. You're not going to get that tightness that you get on the inner track. And usually when it gets cold and there's some moisture in the inner track, it's very fast. Conversely, it's the complete opposite on the main track. So I think it's more about maintaining a track that's dealing with already winter conditions.
And we're keeping our fingers crossed that we are able to run on the turf a couple more days here at the Big Ez. We do have turf races scheduled for the rest of the weekend, but one thing we do have scheduled right now is a break here on Aqueduct Insider on MSG Plus. Around the corner, we'll have a couple more races here on this Big A card. Well, hopefully they are prepping the turf course for some turf racing tomorrow. We want to welcome everyone back on this Friday evening. MSG Plus, Aqueduct Insider Maggie Wolfendale alongside Richard the Migliore here. And Richie, we had some nice weather, still a bit cold. Do you think we'll be on the turf course tomorrow with some expected higher temperatures?
I think there are 3 scheduled turf races. I don't think we'll be on for all 3. I think hopefully we get 2 in tomorrow. This course has taken a lot of moisture. We're close to the ocean, and with the cold temperatures, it hasn't allowed the track to really dry out. What happens is it freezes, it keeps the moisture in it, and then when it thaws, it comes back out. So hopefully we'll get at least 1 and hopefully 2 on tomorrow, and then if the weather cooperates, Sunday we'll be back to full schedule. All
right, let's keep our fingers crossed here. Well, one that was affected by that turf course was race number 8 today. It was an A other than for the New York-bred fillies. Lots of MTOs. Here's Travis Stone with the call.
Maxana bobbled coming out of the gate. Nonikani from the far outside broke out well. Touching My Toes is racing up as well. Started up, comes away in 3rd. G-Note is out in 4th. Barrier to Entry is away 5th as the field races up the chute and heads for the main track, where it is Touching My Toes out to be the leader. Nonikani pressing the pace, seconded outside. Started up, angles to their outside to be 3rd while in the clear. Then it's Maxana back running in 4th. G-Note advancing toward the inside 5th. Porfu runs in 6th. Barrier to Entry mid-pack on a hard hold in 7th, just ahead of Keen Katana, who's on the outside in 8th by another 2. Rock and Cozy under a firm hold as well, about 9 or 10 lengths off the lead. 3 lengths back to Graceful Gal. So the field races for the far turn. The first quarter's on the board in 24 seconds flat, halfway home. Up top, the leader continues to be Touching My Toes, 3/4 clear. Nonikani has been 2nd throughout as the field rounds the far turn, the first half in 48 3/5 seconds. Maxana starting to muster up a rally on the far outside. G-Note is sneaking through toward the inside, all the way up into 4th now. Rock and Cozy's following that move and angling toward the outside. Graceful Gal swings very wide for the stretch drive, and that is Barrier to Entry cutting the corner off the turn. 3/4 in 1:14 4. They're off the turn. They're into the stretch, and Touching My Toes has built a 5-length lead. Rock and Cozy rolls up into 2nd on the outside. G-Note is 3rd toward the rail. The rest very strung out. 16th out. Touching My Toes with an insurmountable lead as they come for the wire. Touching My Toes is a start-to-finish winner. Big effort, too. Won by 7 or 8. Rock and Cozy, G-Note, and Graceful Gal.
And a pretty impressive effort for 2nd time out for Touching My Toes for Linda Rice here, winning by open lengths. Manny Franco aboard. And Richie, I was so surprised at the price of this filly.
What, you really thought it'd be much shorter than this, huh? Yeah.
She was morning lined at 2-1. Her merits kind of spoke for herself, yet they let her go off at 4-1.
And she certainly won like she should have been less than 2-1, even, great line by our own Eric Donovan. But
yes.
This filly won easy. I love horses from the outside post going, the mile distance. They kind of get to gallop in the race properly, and Manny Franco just keeping her busy to the wire.
Yeah, exactly. And nice job by Linda Rice with this filly. But some other racing on today's card. We'll kick things off with race number 1. 5 more after that, and once again, we'll send it up to Travis Stone.
But is 6 or 7 lengths behind. Top of the lane, and Key Moi still in front and is now opening up on Mischievously, who's trying to stick with Key Moi. Key Moi, furlong to go. The lead is dwindling. Mischievously is coming after Key Moi, who's all over the racetrack, and here comes Mischievously on the outside to grab the upper hand. 50 yards out. Mischievously pulling away late to win it by 2. Key Moi was 2nd by another 6 or 7, heading to Boca, and Yes, I'm True. Dan trying to shake loose from the Deluge, who's still 2nd on the outside. They're in the stretch now. Cocktails with Dan is a 1-length leader. The Deluge is 2nd, trying to get by with a furlong left. Cocktails with Dan running on the wrong lead, pretty tired. The Deluge, though, is still 2nd with a 16th to go. Cocktails with Dan, a 16th left. The Deluge can't get by. Cocktails with Dan holds on. The Deluge was 2nd. Seeker was 3rd. Mr. Espresso 4th. 2 survived that skirmish and come off the turn together. Keen's Kupla outside, Chase the Giant inside, Chase the Giant nose back in front. Keen's Kupla fighting on, farther back it's Forever Utopia taking over 3rd. Porto Prince has rallied down inside 4th. 16th out, Chase the Giant's in front. Keen's Kupla couldn't keep up with Chase the Giant late, and it will be Chase the Giant. Chase the Giant, 65-1. Keynes Kupla, Port-au-Prince, Forever Utopia. Brass Pair has opened up with a 4-length lead off the turn. Sunstorm, Financial Mogul, and Sun Lover have been chasing the entire race, but Brass Pair has kicked it into gear and is 5 lengths clear with a furlong to go. Financial Mogul second on the outside toward the rail. A cigar is just a cigar, but they're inside the final 16th, where Brass Pair is all by himself. A gate-to-wire 5-length winner, Financial Mogul. A cigar is just a cigar. And Sun Lover. Outside, Mental Iceberg is putting in a 4-wide bid. Bajan Summers fighting on. 3 for Me is stuck in traffic. Birchwood Road's down inside. Coming into the final furlong. Far outside, here comes Mental Iceberg, but they're stacked across the track. Face the race. And 3 for Me. And toward the inside, Bajan Summer. And right at the rail, Birchwood Road. Down to the final 16th. Mental Iceberg with a narrow lead. 3 for Me fighting on, and Birchwood Road down inside. Mental Iceberg, Birchwood Road, Mental Iceberg. Wide trip and all is the winner on the line. Birchwood Road pitched is down inside, running in 4th. Keep in Mind is 5th. They're off the turn. Literata's in front. Charming Eyes fights on down inside. So these two, 1/8 of a mile to go. Absolute Beauty running on the wrong lead back in 3rd. Pitched is 4th. They're inside the final 8th and coming to the final 16th. Locked in battle are Charming Eyes inside and Literata outside. Literata's got the blinkers in front, and Literata outgames Charming Eyes to the line. Absolute Beauty was 3rd and Pitched was 4th.
And talk about getting off to a good start. Well, that's exactly what trainer Mike Dilger has done here, Richie, at the current Aqueduct meeting. I mean, he's hitting at about 40% now, at least, and his horses are running very, very well, and veteran jockey Johnny Velasquez giving to Ira Ortiz a little bit there.
Well, I really like that when you watch, you talk about race riding, watch the replay of the 9th race. Johnny Velasquez riding the other horse closely, but not going over the line. Race riding isn't when you do something drastic or something that everybody can pick up. It's the subtle things, leaning on a horse just enough without going over the line, and Johnny executed it perfectly in the last race from Mike Dilger.
Sometimes it's a game of subtleties here. Well, one thing that wasn't subtle was the payoff of race number 3, possibly our highest win payoff of the meet so far. That was Chase the Giant, and it was a special one for new trainer Ray Handel, as he does break his maiden here in more ways than one, and getting this horse, bringing him back off the layoffs, has done a great job so far.
He really has, and this is only his 2nd start at it. So get his first win out of 2 starts, and his other start ran extremely well, finishing 3rd. And he gets his son, a Frost Giant, who still has the record for freshman sires as far as wins here in the state of New York. Frost Giant, a stallion to keep an eye on, and Ray Handel. Is that how you say it?
Handel, yeah.
Handel?
Yeah.
A trainer to keep an eye on. Only 3 horses, 2 starters, and a win already. Congratulations to him, and hopefully a long career ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. Looking forward to the 3rd one and running, and I'm sure after the performance thus far, he's going to have a lot more horses in his barn in the near future. But we do have to check in with some standings here at the Big A. Right, not quite breaking into it, top 10 at least, but I'm sure he will be, as we'll look at the jockeys first. Cornelio and Irad just keeping them at bay thus far. Here, Meg.
Keeping up a torrid pace. Cornelio, a guy I think at times gets overlooked every day, shows up, does his job, a total pro. We've seen Irad finish very strongly at a lot of meets, even when he came with a rush to win the Belmont Fall meeting, came with a rush at Saratoga to miss, but he's going to miss a couple days going to Hong Kong, and Cornelio's riding terrific, as is Manny Franco.
What I find interesting is that most of those guys in the top 7 at least are going to be here throughout the winter. It's not like the guys that go south are really making that big of an impact here at the Big A. But David Jacobson once again leading. Rudy just still 9 behind him, and Linda Rice picking up momentum as well.
Yeah, and as you said, Mike Dilger moving up the leaderboard there, and with a great percentage. And an interesting point you make about the jockey colony. I don't think you're going to see too much of a shakeup, and we've got a very strong colony and a very young colony for the winter.
Yeah, we do. It'll be fun to see who emerges, the true star out of this winter. It's always neat to see that, and Drawing Away stable still stay at the top of that leaderboard. David Jacobson in the corner, but also have new trainer Abby Adsit as well. Yeah,
Drawing Away, spreading around a little bit. Michael Dubb, who's just been a force to reckon with at every meet this year, firmly in 2nd.
And both of them claiming owner and trainer combos. Well, speaking of claims, There was quite a few on the card here today. Le Deluge, God, he has second-itis more than anybody. And Pat Quick wins a two-way shake for him. Brass Pair, he was pretty potent in that fifth race today. Michelle Nevin picks him up.
Yeah, a lot of action at the claim box. People loading up for the winter. And Le Deluge, well, when it rains, it pours. Seconds for him. But you know, some horses you just see, they don't have that killer instinct. They don't want to be the leader.
They don't, and he really, really didn't. And hey, there's Ray Handel himself in the red jacket, along with Angel Arroyo, picks up the win. And we'll be right back on Aqueduct Insider. And a beautiful sunset, as always, over the Aqueduct Grandstand. You're watching Aqueduct Insider here from the Big A studios on MSG+. Maggie Wolfendale and Richard Migliore. We're heading into the final turn. Some pretty exciting racing on tomorrow's card, and that is highlighted by the return of Honor Code with Shug McGahee, Richie.
And it is exciting. Obviously, a distance it's probably well short of his best, but they got to start somewhere. This is a very exciting horse from last year. Here we're watching him win the Remsen as he battles back gamely along the rail. But he did win going 7 furlongs in his debut. He
did do that. You're exactly right. So 6.5 here. We'll see how much speed he has, if he has any. He did that day winning the Remsen, which was behind a slow pace, but he just showed a lot of resiliency in winning that Remsen. Now we're going back to the Fred Capicella in 2013 with Malay, a horse who has trouble staying on the racetrack for Kieran McLaughlin.
Obviously very talented, but he must have issues. He has big gaps in his races, only 4 starts now, getting to the end of his 4-year-old campaign, but you know he can sprint, and he's quality if he's ready.
A horse coming off a career best is Monster Mash. We see in the purple cap and purple and white checks there for Jeremiah Engelhardt and Neil Allred. I like this horse a lot, Richie. We'll see if he can keep the momentum going. He's another one where he's kind of had starts and stops in his career, but Jeremiah has led this one on a great campaign. Yeah, he really has. He had some. I remember last year when he won going 5.5 at Aqueduct, showing great speed from the inside. And he's tractable. He can lay close, or he can go to the lead if no one goes. There's speed in here, so he'll probably get a stalking position. But I like horses that are versatile, and this horse should get a good trip. Yeah, we'll see if he can recreate the same kind of magic. We'll see if Honor Code can recreate that same kind of magic once again with his jockey Javier Castellano, whom Richie caught up with a little bit earlier this afternoon. Javier, you ride Honor Code returning from a long layoff at 6.5 furlongs. What do you think about the distance?
I'm not really concerned about it because when he rode the first time, he was 7.8. And I know tomorrow is going to be 6.5. It's a big field, a lot of speed in the race. I think I'm kind of able to develop it to the horses come from behind. That's his style. And for sure, you know, Schumacher, he's a great trainer. I think he's going to be bringing the horse in good order.
Well, obviously, you would like to win, but more importantly, it's a place to get him started. What would you like to see out of him tomorrow?
I believe, like I said before, you know, let us spin the race. And I believe the horse, Pure Sensation and Mash Strong, those two horses, and a couple of horses develop is going to be, I mean, it's going to set up good speed. My question, I think, you question, I believe the horse, I look at the way I look, I think the horse is going to come from behind and in the mid pack, try to find the leg kick, usually does. It's a great horse, and I can't wait to see the horse tomorrow.
Well, that was the next question I was going to ask you. Have you seen him or have you been on him at all?
Actually, no, I didn't have a chance to get on, and the way I'm being taught to each other with the training and the exercise rider, the horse is extremely doing really well. It's a different horse. He grew up, is more stronger, and it's very strong. I think tomorrow is going to be a really exciting race.
Good luck.
And Javier, citing that, he's heard that this horse looks as though he's ready. I've seen him, Richie. He looks more than ready. He's really filled out.
Well, you had to think he was going to grow up and really develop into a man. He was still, I thought, a bit immature looking when he was running so well earlier. The question is the 6.5, and if you can overcome a strong field, traffic coming from behind, and also you don't want to go to the bottom of the barrel right now. It's something to build on, something you want to basically start as a launching point.
Exactly. Well, we're excited to see him back at the races no matter what, but we do have some Stallion Series stakes on the card. It's the girls' turn first in the Staten Island, which will go as race number 5 in here, Richie. And we'll start things off with Sunny Desert, who took down the 2012 version of this race, which was 2 years ago. She's looking for a win with her new barn in Bruce Levine, and I think the cutback might help her.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the cutback, and this is a filly that knows how to win. 8 wins at 18 starts. As we're watching, kind of brings me back, makes me a little bit almost nostalgic. Ramon Dominguez aboard that day. Yeah,
it always is surreal watching those replays with Ramon riding. Vicky's Dancer, last year's winner of the Staten Island Stakes. This is the last win that she has to her credit for Rudy Rodriguez, and a cavalry charge at the wire. She was pretty game, though.
She was very game, coming from behind. I wonder if she's going to kind of get the pace that she might need to set up her closing style. But she is accomplished at 7 furlongs, and she is accomplished in this race at Aqueduct.
Exactly. She likes these conditions very much. We'll see how the boys do later on in race number 8, and it is the Thunder Rumble version of the Stallion Series. We're going to check out the Hudson from just a few months back here on New York Showcase Day at Belmont, and we'll see the horse with the black blinkers, red and yellow silks, West Hills Giant, another Frost Giant.
Another Frost Giant, a horse that we always get to keep. And they seem to, they do anything. Sprint, long, short, turf, dirt. 6.5, I think, was maybe a bit short for him, although he kind of got there, and I thought it flattened out a bit that day. I don't like the inside post for him because he's got that closing style, and I think that's going to be tough for him to overcome.
It is, though he did break from post number 2 for that Hudson. So we'll see if West Hills Giant is that good for trainer John Terranova tomorrow in the Thunder Rumble division. But another guy who is that good, that's Andy Sterling. We'll see who he likes on tomorrow's card.
Well, the eternal question is, will we or won't we be on the turf on Saturday's card? But I have a solution to that, because I like a horse in the 7th race on Saturday on the turf or the dirt. I don't care where they run it. They can run it over the jumps. They can run it on the lake. I like the 9 Idle American. Idle American has run very well here on the dirt, and he's run well here on the turf. I really like him on the turf, but I like him on the dirt as well. He made a big, crazy middle move last time. He needed that race. He's ready. This is the right field on any surface for Idle American to win the 7th race on Saturday.
Well, we hope Idle American has a swimmies on if at least he's going to run in a lake tomorrow. And pretty interesting handicapping insider there with Andy Sterling.
You seem pretty confident that Idle American will get it done, and yeah, wow. Big Brother's watching.
As he always is. I'm sure he's watching this show as of now. But that will do it for us. For Richard Migliore, I'm Maggie Wolfendale, and a beautiful sky scene there over South Ozone Park, Queens. Guys, have a good night. We'll see you back here tomorrow at the Big A.